inner space warmly. Can everybody hear me? Oh yes, yeah, and very warm welcome to our online viewers. Do anybody know today's theme? What's the topic for today? It's a very interesting topic, cleansing the inner being. And for that we have our speaker, Balwant Patel, with us. Balwant is a multi-talented and known for being quite spoken. He holds his silence with care so that when he talks it comes out from deep within. So it's really one of those good quality. And also he is a determined mind student of meditation and sports over 40 years. He's very, very yogic soul. And over 40 years of meditation have helped him run several London marathon and cycle to Brighton and travel internationally to work on special projects and sharing. So it's over to Balwant. Thank you.
Good evening and good to see all of you here. Today's topic, obviously, as you read on the leaflet, detoxing. Physical way, it's easy to detox something. We get instructions and other ways of doing detoxing, following particular way. It depends on what you want to detox physically. But that is something external for the body. But there is more important that we need to detox internal, which is known as inner being, for example. It is good to recognize myself being the inner being. We do a lot of things externally with the physical body, and it comes natural. If you want to go somewhere, you go, you think about it, and you decide on what you want to do when you reach there, how to reach there, what to buy when you reach there, or what action you do. Very easy physically. But what about inner being internally? Even when you started doing something externally, you must have initial thoughts. Our initial thoughts are the seed for many things. Even if we want to do something physically, there must be something internal thoughts. The mind does the thought. When I recognize this, then I come in connection with my inner being. Mostly important factor when I use my thought accurately and positively, then I will be able to look at myself in an image, in a vision form. If I understand and recognize my inner being, then I will be able to do detox internally, which is spiritually. The other side is physical, but this is spiritual. And in this spiritual aspect, that is what the inner being is. My thoughts, my words and action all follow spirituality. So even if I want to use some words, my foundation or being is my first thought. And from that first thought, I will use the words physically. But then after the words, the action follows. But all these three are part of inner being. Now, when I learn to pay attention to my thoughts, because thoughts are created. Thoughts doesn't just come, but they are the creation of your own self. So if I'm the controlling my thoughts, then I have this particular aspect If I'm controlling, not if I'm not controlling. If I'm controlling, then I would be the control of my thoughts. Throughout the day, when we look at our thoughts, it varies. But do you ever, end of the day, think about where did I spend most of my thoughts? Do you ever ask this question? Where did I spend all of my thoughts? Did I spend most of my thoughts normal way, ordinary thoughts? Or is there something that you want to create positive thoughts and you spend more time thinking that way? Or is it some of the thoughts, most of them, how they have been wasted, for example? No? And one of the, out of all these different level of thoughts, different kind of thoughts, I never pay attention to my waste thoughts. Think about this. No? We do pay attention on physical activities because you see the result. Yes, you'll see the result. And you'd pay attention on those things. But internally, on my thoughts, you don't pay the attention because you don't identify the result. And when you can't identify your result, mean that there is no positivity, there is no additional thing that you would like to do. So if there is no positivity and if there is no result that you have found, then most of the thoughts have been the waste thoughts. Thoughts that you don't need to think about, but you're being pulled towards those thoughts. Simple thing that we use ourselves through our mind. Mind is the controller of the thoughts, and this is where I step in to check my thoughts each day, or even every hour, or even every minute. How many thoughts do you think you create in a day? Did you ever think about it? How many thoughts you create in a day? Hey? 80,000 would be... If you think you can create 80,000, I'm not saying not possible, but every thoughts that we create, since we wake up in the morning and then we pass through the day and then we go to sleep, in a study and in result of those, every thought we create is between 30 to 40,000, for example. But we don't pay attention to thoughts. We'll pay attention to food, yes, what you like, for example, and how much it is cost, all sorts of things. But thoughts, no. And this is where spirituality becomes less in this aspect. In order for me to progress, I have to pay attention to my spirituality, inner being. I myself is true inner being when I learn to focus on my mind. And result of that will give you the positive aspect, the fruit of your thoughts in which way you have taken. So each of my thoughts are important. If you think like this, then your second thought follows that the first thought. And the second thought will follow the third thought. And the third will follow the fourth thought. Just in 1 minute, for example, you are sitting here. But if I were to ask you, what kind of thought would you create in 1 minute? Your mind would be wondering. You not know what to expect from your mind, what kind of thought it will be the creation. Mind is the creator of the thoughts, for example. So, if I were to ask this for 1 minute, you will say every 1 second I can create thought, a different thought. So that means you would learn to create 60 different kind of thoughts in 1 minute. Or you think you'll follow the same thought. This is where the understanding of spirituality comes in. If I direct my mind in one particular way, then I am more stable in that way. Each of my thoughts will bring that stability inside me. If I'm stable in my creation, then my foundation is strong and the result of my thoughts are strong. And this is what gives the vision to others. Think about it. No? How much do I have my thoughts on myself? Do you create more thoughts on yourself, or do you create more thoughts on others? Or do you create more thoughts on scenes, for example, or something's happening somewhere? Do you spend creation of those thoughts more or no? So these are the thoughts that I create, which generates the inner feeling. Inner being is the true aspect of inner feelings. No? So my thoughts create that feelings. No? When I look at someone, for example, no, what kind of thoughts you create? I want to share one example, obviously. When I used to be with my friends before going to college, we used to spend a lot of time together. No? We'll play together, we eat together, and we work together in those times. No? And obviously, this was going on for many years. But one day, we had some sort of discussion. And in that discussion, we didn't come to a point accepting what we want to do. Both ideas were different ways of handling things and that. So we just said to each of us, and we said, okay, you do what you like and I'll do what I like, for example. That was the thing. That was the end. Did you continue other things with those thoughts or no? Or was that the end? No. So that was the end. We split and we did different things for ourselves. But after 6 years, we met again. 6 years. Did you think, what would be your first thought when you see that person? First thing he saw me, and what first thing he said, oh, you haven't changed. You know? First thought, after 6 years, you haven't changed. Can you imagine? So I hold on to myself. I said to the other person, I said, you look different. I said, you look different. You change. Now, this was something in a feeling I wanted to create. No? Not the one thing, whatever happened 6 years ago, I didn't want to bring that in front of me. In a feeling. And when that was created, he asked me this question, you really think I've changed? And I said, yes. Even if it didn't change, I didn't want it to bring that in front of me. I need to create something different. No? Because toxin, we can create many different ways. But to create that intoxication, happiness for that particular soul, it is your way of creating that. No? So when I created that happiness in him, he changed. He did change. When you see something change, you particularly see on the face, no? On the feature, no? The way you talk, the way you smile, the way you put things into action, you can observe those things. No? Even those didn't happen 6 years ago, but it is happening now. So that is something different. So that observation will give you very much clarity. So in this way, we don't pay attention in our thoughts, but how important it was that when you do see someone which you had spent time, but you want to bring that change. You don't want to hold on to things what that person did. What is the benefit in holding on to that? There isn't. Many times we hold on to things of the past. Yes? Whatever happened a year ago, 6 months ago, many different way. No? But that has passed. The scenes have gone. Now it's a different scene of different thing. But if I hold on to that particular scene, that means I haven't let go. I haven't let go. Even in the films we see, all scenes are different. Yeah? You might have the same actor doing the same different scene, different time, but the scenes are different. The one scene, first scene he performed, it's past. New scenes will come. I am able to analyze this aspect through my thoughts, through my words, through my action when I come across this spirituality, seeing the real aspect. Now, if I know this feeling that I create internal, then my thoughts would also come similarly. Just an example of that particular aspect. So I stop creating the old thoughts for that person. That's it. Full stop. Nothing will be the same in that way. Even in English now, when you finish the sentence, you put full stop. And then you know that you're going to start a new sentence. No? And that new sentence starts with capital. New begin, newness. So we are also able to bring this newness within ourselves. Something different that you create. No? Not the old, but new. Now, I can create this newness in my thoughts. But it has to be the foundation. It has to be seed in each of my thoughts. Let me give this newness a beginning of something that I want to create, for example. No? I have a lot of old habits, for example. No? Old habit, old way of thinking. No? Many different old things I collect, not just physical, but also in the thoughts, words, in many different ways. Can I change that? If I can change that, then I know that my way of seeing things would be different. How do we get influence? How do we get attracted to things which I don't need, but I always get pulled in? And these are our repetition of our thoughts again, again, and again. So waste thoughts are very much created in many different ways. But we don't pay attention. And so our energy within myself, it's coming less and less. The spiritual energy. Physical energy, we pay attention to throughout the day. What I can do, I can't do. I have the energy, the way you think. If your body is weak, then you create energy into that, for example. No? But in my mind, if I'm able to control my thoughts, then I would have that controlling power. So if you can't control the thoughts or you can't pay attention to your thoughts, then a lot of thoughts are ordinary and a lot of thoughts that has been created will go into the waste. And the more it goes into the waste, then the weakness is there. Strength is not there. The weakness is there. So in order for me to remove this weakness, this is why we connect each of our thoughts in the way to connect is through knowledge and also meditation, for example. No? Connection, basically. Think about it. No? The amount of thoughts you create in a particular way is so important. Each of my thought, if I pay attention, then it can create that strength. No? Weakness is something so different. I learned to create difference in a different way because I wasn't aware of the result of the things that I do. No? But the important factor is, yes, the thoughts. No? If I can just visualize each of my thought and analyze each of my thought and see the beginning and the end, then I know where I am. I know where I am. And nowadays, even a lot of things scientifically has been done. No? But you still have to use your mind. You have to. No? Otherwise, it's just like how we tell our feet and hands work normally. Do you have to tell your hands all the time? Or it just come normal? Eh? If you want to walk, do you tell your legs to say walk, or it just happens? It's a natural thing, right now. Same thing with our mind. Same thing with our intellect. Two aspects in which, if I'm able to give direction, to use them rightly, use them correctly, then I don't need to have any other forms. And that form will bring that result in a specific way. And this is where my strength is gathered for the inner being. Now, many things in our inner being, no? Memories is one aspect, our habit is another aspect, no? Influence is another aspect, no? But because I'm not paying attention, I just tend to be, oh, it's normal. I just say to myself, it's normal. But it is not normal. If you want to know your real self, normality of what happens through our thoughts, what happens through our words, and what happens through our sanskaras, what happens through our feelings, what happens through our vision, and what happens too in our relation, then you will learn to pay more attention. In every way, we have to have that creation. If mind is the creator, then thoughts are the creation. And something that we need to analyze and put this into practice. Even through power of silence, for example. No? Silence is our natural quality. Silence is not that you create, but it's a natural quality within the inner being, the inner aspect. No? Love is also our natural quality. Peace is also our natural quality. No? And these are the product in which I wasn't aware of, but now through knowledge, I am aware of this, so I can withstand the quality that and the virtue that I can benefit from it. Natural way of benefiting. Not make only way to make effort is to remove the weakness in which I am not exploring, or I don't know about the weaknesses that has been created, but through above my natural quality, I will be able to recognize the weaknesses, for example. Think about thoughts. It is something that we create all the time. No? But how many different kind of thoughts? All of you know, like negative thoughts. No? If you didn't think about something being positive, then the thought can be ordinary or can be negative. And if it's negative, it will definitely go in two ways. No? Something like pure thoughts. No? Pure thoughts, we don't pay attention to because we don't know what it is. No? It's like clean water. No? We know that the water is clean. We know we buy the water. We know we get the water on the taps, no? For example. But the facilities is there to analyze that water. No? And you will drink it in that way, for example. No? But suppose if you have your thoughts like drinking water, it follows one thought, another thought, another thought. No? How does that affect the mind? Very subtle way it will affect. In your behavior, in your feeling, in your action, in your relation, in a similar way. And when you feel thirsty, you want to drink water. Who doesn't want to drink water? Body needs water. Yes, body needs water. But you add other thing to it if you want to drink it differently. If you want to detox something for the physical body, you'll add something. And it will help to analyze or cleanse the physical aspect. But if I realize the aspect of thoughts, of each and every thought, how does that affect me in my thinking, in my judgment, and in the result of that, then I would pay attention. Definitely pay attention. No? Just think that comparison between the water I drink and the thoughts I create for the inner being. Which one you think more important? Body needs water. We always need to feed the body for whatever it needs to sustain it. So in the same way, spiritually, I am that spiritual being. I am that spiritual. What is that spiritual being? What is that spiritual energy? No? So this is my conscience in which I analyze. I am that point of light. I am that spiritual being. And I am that peaceful being. I am that loveful being. And these are my natural quality. And when I experience this natural quality, then I realize my true self. A point of light. No? I am that point of light. Although I recognize myself physically different, but the point of light is the original self. And I am that light which is peaceful, for example. The light natural quality is peace. Silence, I mentioned. No? My natural quality of being is silence. We all like silence, or don't you? Do you feel that peace and silence is my natural quality or no? You do. No? When I was in Europe in one of the place, I think I was in one of the city that time, and I used visiting different places. No? So I saw this church, very old church, very old church. And I had this inspiration, I'd go and sit in the church. And one thing, when I went, as soon as you came here, you felt different vibration. No? When I went there wasn't anyone in the church, for example. But it was very quiet, very silent. No? Church was very old. There is no one there to create that atmosphere. But the atmosphere is still there. Where did that atmosphere come from? We can create that atmosphere. We can create that vibration within ourselves. And this is why we are able to experience this particular aspect when I pay attention to it. So, church, what happens in the church? It's an old church, but no one was there. I've been to many different places in different churches, but it is the quietness, for example, vibrations, quiet, for example. So in our meditation, we create that, generate ourselves within it. The connection is there, the vibrations, the feelings are very much created. So when I told you that story about the friend, so my vibration created after 6 years was different. Different feeling. Different feeling. Good wishes. Another feeling that we create along is good wishes. Now this is an important aspect in which I will be recirculate my thoughts. Having good wishes. How much are you able to create those good wishes if you didn't get on well with someone? Or do you always create bad wishes or different level of thoughts for that person? This is where good wishes comes in. Pure feelings also, feelings which have a different way of looking at it, different way to upbring that particular soul in an up, not down, but up. And pure feeling does that. Feelings are the vibration that we generate. And that helps each and every one. Even if you're not in front of that soul, but soul might be away. But the vibrations and the feeling, will travel that way. This is why creating the inner feeling through the inner being will clean the mind very much. But I have to have the clean mind, clean and clear mind, so that I'll be able to create those vibrations that can be sent. And when you experience those vibrations, the soul will experience. And why this a spiritual aspect is so important. We have many other physically things important, but inner being, in order to clean the mind and the intellect, this is the part of it. So if I'm able to do this and create this every day, it'll be different in my level of thinking. Highest way of thinking, elevated way of thinking would be different. Even trying something, when we grew up, we all grew up in a different place. We all went to school different. But we all learned something, and this is where we are, what we've learned. But the teacher was the main guidance for us. Different teacher, different subject. And teacher always have this, I hope all my students pass, for example, or they learn something better. Why? Because they know, teacher knows how it will bring up the livelihood, how it would be the future for the student. And that feeling and that way of thinking is different. Always upbringing, uplifting that way. Even there are 30 students, and teacher will teach all of them same, not different, same. But each one will pay attention what the teacher have taught. That's where the number comes in. Because everyone doesn't pass with the same number. Different grade, different level, different passes in that way. So my spiritual study very much, I am able to see and focus. When I learn to focus the mind, then I can also create those thoughts in which direction I want to send them. What kind of thoughts? If they are the true energy within myself, then that plays the important part in my life. Important aspect. Even we see a lot of things about the scientists, for example. 100 years ago, this wasn't like this there, was it? What we have now in technology and things, it wasn't there 100 years ago. But it is now, and it is more now, for example. Even the phones, 50 years ago, phones weren't there, right? I had a friend, he was an electrician, and he phoned me and he said, I've got a mobile phone. I want to come and see you. He said he had a mobile phone. He want to come and see me. I said, okay, come. I have some work for you. You can do both. Show me the phone and also that. You know how big was the phone? First phone? This big, and had a band around it to carry it. Did you ever thought that now what phones you have and what you got more than that time? Creation. But the creation, whoever created that, they focused all the thoughts in what best way to have that creation. And look what we have now. Different phones. And everything is in the phone. Are you all attached to your phone or no? Hey? If I were to take your phones away from you, do you think you can let go? Or you think my life is finished after the phone? Is that true? But the life was better before the phone. It wasn't bad. It wasn't worse. Hey? But how we became dependent on it? Huh? It's not that I'm not telling you not to use the phone. Use the phone. But when time comes, can I control my thoughts on the phone? When time comes, can I control or direct my phones in a way that I need to so that I remain stable? Or you think you'll fall and then you'll try to get up in your thoughts? You'll have weak thoughts. Weakness would create those thoughts. No? How many thoughts would follow then? So many. No? One thought after another, another. Oh, I have to do this. I have to do this. Oh, I lost all my numbers, everything. No? Never stops. But you can stop. It's not that you can't stop. Every second is so different. Each of my thoughts connected with every second are different. I can create same thought again and again in a process, but the result is not the same. Result, it will be different. But this is why the practice of meditation or connection with myself being the spiritual and the connection with the Supreme, which is also spiritual, that I am able to rectify it and put it right. Think about it, no? If I can put my thoughts, see it and put it right, then it would have a different consequences. Different consequences. So enlightenment in yourself, the creation of yourself in thoughts in which I am able to analyze and practicality. So where does your thoughts go? No? When you learn to use the phone, you want to see everything in the phone. No? You can send pictures from one to another. No? You can visualize and see. And the person who receives it will be happy. He hasn't seen you. Nowadays, everything on Zoom or everything through the phone, person you can speak, you can hear the voice, but you can't see, suppose. But you analyze through now. Yeah? So our analyzations of my creation of my thoughts in the form of words afterward and in the form of action, I create that image, visualize it. And that image will give through my face, through my feature, through in the how I behave, in the behavior in a different way. Yeah? Sometimes you can easily get on with someone. Yeah? Sometimes you've been with someone for 7 years, 6 years, 5 years. Sometimes you look forward to seeing someone you don't know, but you don't know how it will turn out to be. No? So these are the expression in front of me that I create. But the actual result is not that I visualized. Then what are your thoughts afterward? Then? You have to analyze in a way, no, if that is finished, then it's finished. No? I need to move forward. I need to carry on, moving forward, but not stop just because something that's happened you didn't like or you didn't expect. You need to move forward. In the same way, obviously we all have seen different films in that way. No? Actor might come for even 5-10 minutes, but his scene is there, important. Even 5-10 minutes, he'll come. Many others will come, actors, even for 12 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, so many different ways. But analyzing the whole scene of the story, that's where everyone comes in. If I learn this aspect of myself, acting through my thoughts, acting through my vision, through the eyes, acting through what I hear, acting through how I behave when things are in front, then I would get the true picture. Even the actors in the film, they repeat one scene many times until the director says, yes, that's it. No? I'm coming back to thoughts. If I'm creating the thoughts, do I see it in the same way? Otherwise, you have to stop, put a break, change the thought. No? Put a break, change the thought. And you can do this. And if mind is able to have this power, the strength, then one thought will lead to another. But if you analyze that thought, then you can put a break and create different thought. Then create same thought again, but you have accepted that. No, this thought is better than the other thought. Then I can follow and create that way of thinking. In each and every thought is important. No? Do you think that all thoughts are same or different? Quiet. Power of silence keeping you quiet, is it? Eh? You see, even the thoughts are silence. No? Thoughts are silence? Or no? I don't feel any noise. Yeah? So this is where in meditation we are able to create that silence. No? Quietness, for example. No? I'm not doing anything with physical thing, but it's just a thought. Just a thought. But silence means silence. No? Then even sitting, you don't think about other things. This is where the diversion takes place. Influence comes in. Or your weakness comes in. No? In that way, no, I said, I just want to sit in silence, quiet, just for 2 minutes, suppose. Right? But are you able to pay attention to that? Are you able to create that creation of 2 minutes and nothing else distract you? Or you thinking of, oh, when I go home, I want to do this. Or while sitting here and you think, oh, I feel hungry now, I'll go and buy this on the way and do this and that. But do you need to do that while you're sitting just for 2 minutes and your aim is different? This is why it is important in analyzing and creating this. No? It's an inner power. Inner being in an inner power, that is the most important aspect. And this is what gives the strength. At the same time, if I don't have the strength of controlling power and power of judgment in that way, then I will not be able to accumulate any strength in me. We have to create that strength, spiritual strength, through the accumulation of my thoughts. In our company that we keep in many different ways, because all my friends at that time, they used to ask me many different questions. No? When I came to Brahma Kumaris, many things were changing in my thoughts and thinking, in words and actions. No? And I was trying to give them that experience that change can take place. No? And they found that yes, it is possible. So they used to ask me, how come you're changing? No? So the first thing I used to say, I feel better by changing. Simple thing I told them. No? I feel better by changing. No? But they are so used to the old ways. No? And they didn't want to let go of those old ways. But I was happy to let go of old ways and create new ways, which we all have seen through science, for example. No? But through the mind, they are the one, they create new things. If they didn't have that mind and the power in the mind, we would not see what we see now. So the creation, even the physical aspect, was very much through the mind. No? So important aspect, if I realize and recognize, then I will take the steps towards that. Daily routine, for example. I only gave the example of thoughts because they are important. Important. Otherwise, we would not be where we are. If I need to move everything in harmony, and if I need everything to move in a right way, and if I need to keep everyone stable, these are the things in applying the thoughts in which is right way, and I'll be able to manage. No? Creation is something positive. Creating something that is happiness, that gives happiness. Creation is something that I can tolerate. Something that you have to put up, but you will put up in a way. No? You will not feel sorrow or different thing. It's not something that you come down. No. Inner feeling, inner being, the cleaning of the self will uplift you in a balanced way, in a stable way. Yeah? So, one important aspect is to learning to talk to yourself. Yeah? Learning to talk to yourself. Who you are, what is that you have, the qualities, what is the goodness you have, no? Which is your own self in a way. No? Think about it. I am that point of light. But what kind of light are you? No? What kind of light? I am that pure light, for example. I'm just a point of light, but the point of light has that energy. No? We see stars in the sky. No? How far the stars away? How far? Far away. And they're big size, but we see just a point in the sky, no? Above it. And how that lights up the sky, different. Sun has its own energy, different. But I'm able to use both way spiritually. The light is the main focus within myself. Mind is the main focus within myself. The power of pure thoughts is the main focus in myself. I am able to differentiate in my energy level in each thought. If I am able to do that, then I know where I stand. Then each of my step will be benefiting in each way. Accumulating your energy is the main aspect to maintain your strength and stability. And that's why the meditation helps you internally, cleansing the self. And I said, no, talk to yourself. See the reality. And that will obviously clean the inner self, means getting rid of the old things which you have created. The way, whether it's a way of thinking, whether it's the judgment, the way it is the influence, many ways, no? Whether in the form of memories, for example, no? It's gone, past. No? But you're creating that, you're holding on to that. You don't need to. Past, finish. Let me see present myself. and then act upon differently. Let it go. We have to let go in that way. Look how birds are able to fly so easily. How come? They have wings, yes, but they don't hold on to branch. They let go. If they want to go from one place to another place, they will fly easily. They let go. We have to learn to let go of things. No? Because as it is, time is changing fast. Yes? Time doesn't remain same. Time doesn't wait for anyone. And the time is something constant remain. We all went through COVID, no? Many years. We all went through different experience. No? We had to follow discipline or instruction from government or whatever because no one had the answer. The answer was follow it and you'll be safe. No? So we had to do many things. Throughout the world, each country did something for each people. No? Safe. So our spirituality is the real safety for within self. Physical, we had to do many things, but spiritually, we had to maintain that balance, spiritual balance. Yeah? And this is where my focus became strong, that particular aspect. No? And this was something cared for. Caring was something for everyone, because if there is one fault or one weakness, then you can easily pass that to others and to others and so on. This is why I mentioned before, put a break. And then after the break, you start redirect. Each of our thoughts, we can redirect. If it's not in the way that I want, but because of my weakness, then it will reoccurrence will happen. But this is where I analyze in a way to know, stop, then I'll start something different. Even in our work, where we work, if things changes through after COVID, we had to have a different system of different process. And then until it come back to how we used to do what we used to do, then it's a different case. So all of this thing, I'll have to clean myself in a way. But before that, I have to recognize. And then recognition through the meditations, through the knowledge, in the process that I'll be able to keep that balance. It's not difficult, and this is why we always say this easy, Raj Yoga. It is easy, no? Is there any restriction? Or is it anything that you can't practice? You can practice at home, it's easy. You can practice here, even in your workplace. If you were to take just 5 minutes away from things, even in your lunch break, it'll help you. It'll help you. It's a practice that I need to make it firm, because then my mind will act accordingly. Accordingly it'll act. Then the controller is you. The mind will do what you say. Controller is you. Then it will become different aspect in that way. So that's why giving time to yourself for cleaning it, whether it's a power of silence, power of through meditation, power of through knowledge, it will give you very much the inner strength that requires to maintain the balance. Like when we walk, we always see what is we walking on. No? If there is a hole in front of you, you don't walk through the hole. If there is upheaval, uneven surface, you don't walk through that. Automatically, you'll tell you move around in different way. No? Or you don't have to stand there and say, oh, you people almost, look how many people walk with naturally, with the feet. This habit that is there naturally with the physical awareness of the body. So same with our spiritual awareness of my thought, I'm able to create that strength. And then I don't have to waste so much energy, because waste energy that we create most is the one in a negative aspect. So, inner being is a spiritual aspect, very much deeper within ourselves. So all this I have mentioned, different point, different thing, and then I'm able to have that creation that I need to create in that way. Okay, I'll finish here, and if you have any questions or something, I'll be happy to answer.
In your personal experience, how do you deal with a wasteful thought? Like sometimes you don't want the thoughts, but it already happened. So at that particular moment, what do you tell your mind? Yeah, how do you deal with that at that particular moment, and how you detach yourself from that wasteful thought?
In our life, we come across many different things. No? You have to become, what I normally use is detach, observer. We are all observers. No? You will observe one thing in a way you feel that the right way. I will observe different way in which I feel. No? But I have to remain detached. In order to have correct way of analyzing, the detachment has to be there. No? So, if I connect at that moment, no, what will happen to me, suppose? Or if I analyze in what will happen in my future. So those two aspects, you make a decision. But whatever the decision you make today, tomorrow will not be the same. No? Because today will become yesterday, and that becomes the past. So if I'm analyzing in that way to give yourself the power of judgment, have I done the right thing, for example? No? Have I taken the right step? Have I thinking the right way? But this is being the detached observer analyzing, then I will analyze in a correct way. If you don't have this detachment, then you will go either way, and there is no real power within it. Understanding and also taking that forward in your decision. In that.
Hello, sir. Uh, I have a question similar to Bhavish. Yesterday I was watching a movie named Groundhog Day, and that guy was thinking same thought process and he was miserable. And next day he started thinking in a different way. So whole world changed around him. So that clicked me an idea that how you proceed, how you think, and as we learn in spirituality, you change your reality, how you perceive, yeah. But I tried to apply that same thing in my head. So I tried to apply same thing today, and the amounts of thought I'm getting were more dominant towards the negative side. And as Bhavish asked, how would we keep that direction? Because we know our head, most of the humans, so our thoughts are dominant toward the negativity most. Some have more, some have less. But even if we wanted to create that positivity or positive start from our day, especially like me, I feel like, my dominance toward the negativity is more. And half of my day takes me time to reach to that level where I can, neutralize it. How to maintain that energy in the morning.
But this is good. It's like that's why I was thinking in terms the thoughts we create throughout the day with different scenes. No, we go into one scene to another scene, another scene. No, but how you get influence? No, what is the influence? For example, that you are pulled towards one particular thing. Now, I just relate one example. I had a friend who used to walk through the shopping mall, no, for example, when he used to go to work. And he used to phone me and say something. And I said, why are you phoning me now at this time? So he says, there's a sale here. No? I said, what sale? He said, sale. It says 20% sale. And I thought that I would buy this. No? So why do you want to phone me? He said, I want a direction. And I said, well, you're the one who's buying, not me. No? As I said. So he left it. After a week, he goes through same. Now, but the sale now increased to 40%. So he rings me again. He's saying, look, this is what I'm seeing. And I have a feeling to go inside. But I said, do you want to buy? Well, he said, it's 40% sale. No? I said, look, if you don't need it, leave it. I said to him, no, I told him, if you don't need it, leave it. Yeah? So how did he control himself? He couldn't. What you mentioned, we have thoughts. We have pulled. We get influence in many different directions. But you can still put a break and say, no, I don't want it, because the influence will drag you in a way that you don't want to, but it will pull you towards that. So after third week, he phones me again and he said, now it's a 60%. Hey? And I said, what is it, 60%? So he walks in the shop. Yeah, he walks in the shop and he buys things. No? And I said, and then when he reached home, he rings me. He said, look, I got this. It was a good sale, 60%. But I don't have a space to put in. What is it? What is this? Don't have a space to put in? And he said 60% was the figure for him. Look, we create a lot of things different way, but I have to be focused. What I need, what is benefit for me, what is benefit to others, what is this way and this way. We can play. It's a play. Sometimes we say it's a play, but I'm the master within that play. We forget this. Then I could be anywhere. If I'm the master, if I'm the controller, then I know where I stand, what I have to do, what the result is. Simple, So there are many things in the world now, for example. But it's up to me, learn to use in a way that I think is the best for myself or for others and move in the right direction. So thoughts will come, many different way come, but you have to detach and say, no, today I will have to tolerate, suppose. Then you tolerate, but don't continue with that. For that time being, yes, then afterward, when that finish, you move on. Forget. This is the inner strength you will have to, inside, build it up. Yes? Okay. Okay. So, we can do meditation. While you're sitting here, don't think of anything else, yeah? Just focus on the things that you want to meditate on. All your thoughts will lead to that. So just relax. Just think about yourself. I am the one who's thinking. I am that point. I am the thinking the right way. All the things that I'm thinking relates to me. Nothing pulls me away from the things that I am related to. I am that being thinking about my inner self. I am that wonderful point of light. I am that pure light, light that sends wonderful vibrations, good wishes, which I am able to send to anyone who desires. Take them away from the sorrow, fill them with inner happiness. This is the virtue of sending the vibrations and the wishes to understand the reality of happiness. My inner being is my inner strength. Inner strength that I look into every thought, and each and every thought creates that inner ability to give happiness to myself and also share that happiness with others. I am the one that is happy. I am the one that is deep of inner feeling of being inner self. My deep feelings are the most valuable light feeling. I am within my natural quality of being myself. I am of that peace. I am of that silence, and I am with that love. I share and cooperate with love and peace because they are my natural qualities. These are the things I create within myself, and it is my inner creation that brings about light to others, happiness to others, and we share this cooperation of seeing each and every one the quality. I look at myself in the power of silence. I don't see anything else, just the silence. I myself see the light. It is the silence. I don't see any other thing because I am merged in this power of silence. This is the practice I need to create in order to build my inner strength. Om Shanti.
Balwant Bhai, thank you. There is one last question from our online viewers. And if you could just briefly tell that how one can keep balance in difficult times.
In our practical life, we do need to keep the balance. No? If we become unbalanced, then we can fall. When I'm saying about fall means the way we think, the way my judgment appears. No? And when I fall, then my weakness will come in a way that it will be difficult for me to come up again in the same stage that I used to be. No? So creating balance in a difficult situation, no? How do I see that it is a difficult situation? No? We've seen many difficult situations, even now they come up. No? But personal situation, if it's difficult, then I am the judgment for that personal decision. It might be connected with other things, but because I am the decision maker for that particular scene, and the balance that I need to create is to see the future, to see the present, and see the people involved. No? I might not be able to have that strength to analyze everything, but decision has to be made. If that decision has to be instant, then the result would be instant. If that decision has to be taken after 2 weeks, then I will be able to analyze it and then make the decision. So balance would be upon your decision. The scenes are in front of you. Past is in front of you, the present in front of you, and also the future is in front of you. But the future we cannot see. Present we are able to see. Past is finished. So my decision, in order to create that balance, would depend on the present at that particular time. No? So this analyzation will be upon my judgment power. No? And I have to be very much in relinquish the things I hold on to, let it go, and hold on to something that will create different, and the result of that would be the present thing I will analyze. So the balance will depend on your judgment at that time. Unless you don't recognize the scene, then you won't make the right decision. And then you have to be detached observer as well as letting go of the things, and the balance would then result would give you that balance. If you accepted it, then you would say it was a good decision for you.
Okay, thank you, Brother Balwant, for the wonderful talk and all the tools and tips given. Our next week talk, same time, same place, and the topic is the never-ending story. Very interesting topic. And a product of the week, it's time to do inner work. It's in the shop, so you can browse through on your way out. And once again, thank you for joining us, and thank you to our online viewers for joining us to have a safe journey back home. Bye-bye.